Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Emma Lefebvre, and today we are looking at another 90 set of Arrtx acrylic markers. I have loved using these, so today let's paint some really cute fall illustrations with them. Okay friends, so Arrtx reached out and asked if I would like to look at their new 90 set of colors. I love their acrylic markers. I've been using them so much more than I ever thought I would. They're just so much fun, and they really kind of resemble gouache to me in a way of how opaque they are, but they are so easy to use and they are just so much fun for illustrations. So we're going to be looking at these, and they also sent over a cute little sketchbook. It's a watercolor sketchbook, 100% cotton, highly absorbent, color lifting, hot press, so it's smooth, which is perfect for the markers. And there are 20 sheets in here, so I thought we could do just like a cute little autumn spread in here. These also have perforated edges, so if you wanted to like make little notes and, you know, tear it out, you could do that. But I wanted to test out this little sketchbook with these markers, so let's take a look at the color range. So 90 set. I think some of the colors are the same, but it looks like, ooh, and you know what I always look for? Greens. Looks like they have some really nice greens in here. Look at that olive. So much fun. I see some like really nice like taupe kind of colors for maybe some mushrooms. Some more neutral colors, which is really nice. So these markers all have a brush tip, which feels like when I said, let's start painting, it feels like you're painting with a brush almost. So it mimics a brush in a way, and they're just so easy to use, and they're really great for layering. So I thought I would show you how I would do some really fun fall illustrations that are simple that anyone can do. So let's open this up. I'm going to use kind of the first full page here. If I can just open this like that. And it's small, so we're not going to do anything too crazy today. Okay. I say we start with the pumpkin because I love pumpkins. It's almost fall. Well, it is fall. It's almost pumpkin season. So let's do that. So I'm going to grab some oranges. Like, look at these neutral kind of oranges. I wonder if they're like, yeah, that looks kind of rusty. Ooh, I like that. It's going to be perfect. Some lighter colors and like a lighter yellow. So let's start with a pumpkin. I'm going to start with my lighter color. And I'm just going to start by drawing an oval here. Like that. Yes, I know it's yellow. Then I'm going to go just slightly over top. And I end slightly above the bottom here. Now, you can just do it nice and solid. You don't have to leave any white space because we can separate each of these edges. But you want to start up a little bit higher and end a little bit higher than this bottom kind of curve, because that's going to give you that pumpkin perspective. One more round like that, and like that, and then kind of like back here. I have to remember, I'm not working with watercolor. I can kind of make it my own and layer on top. Now I'm just going to kind of give it a little bit of a medium orange here. So I'm trying to use this yellow as like a highlight, and I'm just kind of doing these fun strokes. So you have that really light area towards the middle. So that's like the highlighted part of the round area of the pumpkin. And then you have these shadow areas, and we're just going to keep going deeper. Let's use it more of an orange here now. I just love how these layer. These are really beautiful neutral kind of oranges. Very fall-like. And I don't think that was the intent of sending these ones to me. It's not like this is like a fall palette of markers, but like, how perfect is this? Now, obviously, you don't have to start with yellow in the middle. You could have started with like a brighter orange. I think that looks really cool though. I might get like a bright orange. I love how it like gives this kind of like painterly opaque look with these markers. I think that looks really cool. Just throwing little bits of bright orange in there. So the yellow just kind of looks more like a highlight. So cool. Okay, then I'm going to get a dark brown. This is a good one. And do a stem. And you can even add some darker shading on the bottom and the top. Like so. And I might get a lighter brown or a taupe kind of and just do like a couple squiggles on the stem. Look at that. I have a bit more orange, I think. And if you, one thing I love about these, because they're so opaque, if you don't like it, you can just paint over it. I don't know if I was feeling that yellow, but look, now it's a bright orange pumpkin. And I can have this lighter color on top. So you can work dark to light, which is awesome too, right? It's not like watercolor where you have to work light to dark. And I find if they're still wet, you can almost kind of blend the colors together, which is pretty cool. There we go. Yeah, I think I like this better. More of an orangey pumpkin. Okay. That wasn't really much of a tutorial. That was like a, here's what not to do. Okay, so there's our pumpkin. But like, let's see how the paper holds up. Because I did quite a few layers. Like, there's no bleed through with these markers. I don't know. That's awesome. Okay, let's do another fall item. I feel like I want to do a mushroom. Mushrooms are huge, especially in the fall. So I'm going to start with this kind of like taupe color. And I'm going to start with a stem. Like this. And I like to put like what I call a little skirt on the bottom. And then I do another long stem. I'm just going to curve the top here. Like that. And then I might do another one. I think I want that one to have a red top. So let me get some red. Ooh, this is a really nice, bright, vibrant red. One of those red tops with the white dots. And again, because they're opaque, we can do the white dots on top instead of having to go around. Like that. Kind of come around the bottom here. I might grab this like darkish kind of maroon red to get a little bit of shadow on the bottom here. Like that. I'm going to grab this taupe color to kind of do some little lines. Like that. Maybe a little bit of darkness and kind of shading under there. I just love the look of that you can get with these. I'm gonna get a lighter one for a bit of highlight and texture there. And then I did want to do like a taller mushroom. So I'm gonna grab this lighter color, do a large stem, put a little skirt on it, and a stem underneath. And a top here. This one's just a smaller one. Fill it in. Get our taupe color. Just add some shading. Maybe a bit of dots or something next to it. For a bit of texture there. Again, grabbing a little bit darker. More shading. Like that. I'm going to grab a white here. I'm I'm gonna do my little dots. Like, look how opaque that is. Then I'm gonna grab just a slight gray, and I'm just gonna make it a little bit more gray over to the side where it would be a bit more of a shadow, and leave those ones a bit brighter white. And then grab that dark red again and just do a little shadow underneath each of these white marks to make it look a bit more like it stands out. Like that. And add a little bit more bright white on top here. Maybe a little bit of white there. Like that. And then I'm just going to grab some green and I'm going to do little bits of grass. And then maybe this lighter green and do some brighter grass. And there we go. There's some mushrooms. Okay, let's do, I actually feel like this might need a little bit more of a highlight. There, just a slight one. Okay, let's do something simple like an acorn. So I'm gonna grab kind of like this medium brown and I'm just gonna draw a U shape here. And then I'm gonna fill it in. I'm gonna grab my darker brown. It's not that much darker. I think there's a darker one over here somewhere. Let's see. Just a different brown. Put a little kind of hat on it. And a little stem. Then grab this like darkish gray brown. Just even darker, kind of darken one side. Maybe do a little pattern on it. You can just kind of darken one side over here. Maybe get your lighter brown and just a little bit of a highlight there, or like that taupe kind of color. Something simple like that. What else could we do? We could do some leaves. There's like a nice kind of gold here. I'm gonna do a line and just a simple leaf shape. And then I'm just gonna, with the tip of my brush or my marker, just creating that kind of jagged edge. Like that. I'm gonna get a slightly darker color, or maybe even a, I'm gonna add just some orange in here, I think. Just for a bit of range and texture. But then I'm gonna grab a really light color. Let's see if I can do a light, yeah, light veins on it. Just a little bit. And then just a little bit of brown. Because as these leaves are starting to turn, they start to get a little bit more brown, maybe some holes in them. They get a little bit more crunchy. You know what I mean? All right, let's do like a gourd. I feel like that could be fun too. I'm gonna take this kind of green lime, not lime. It's like an olive green, and I'm gonna do one of those that are kind of like, I don't even know what kind it is. But they have like a little boop, and then it's like lines kind of going down it. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Now I don't want to just leave that white, so I'm going to take a really light kind of taupey color for the white part. Like that. And then I'm going to get an even darker green. Just going to give it a little bit of, well, this one's a little bit more teal than a dark forest green like the lid. That's okay though. Just kind of add some darker bits here. Maybe a little bit of brown. Like that, just something simple. Let's also do, let's just do a simple branch with maybe some berries on it. I'm going to do it over here. So I'm going to just grab my brown, try and do this kind of jagged branch shape. A little bit thicker at the bottom here. Do some thinner. Bits there. I'm going to get a red. I'm going to do some berries over here. 1, 2, maybe 3, and then maybe 2 over here. That. I'm going to grab the darker red. I'm just going to shade, especially those 2 that are kind of together and around the bottoms. That. And then maybe just some little leaves on them as well. I just love drawing fall things. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Kind of overlap, and then we can shade after. Gonna grab a darker kind of yellow, and I'll just, well, that's not dark enough. Maybe a brown. Let's see if we can kind of blend this together so it's still wet, still wet, still wet, and then blend. See that? And you can kind of get that just slight change like that. That's fun. Grab a little bit more of my darker brown. Like that. Grab a lighter brown color. Just add a little bit of highlight, maybe some little notches on the branch. Like that. And then let's try a pine cone. So actually I'm going to start with my darkest brown, and I'm just going to do this kind of like oval up there, and then I'm just going to start doing ovals going down, and you want to imagine kind of like this rounded triangle shape. Okay, so I'm going in with the darkest color to start, giving it oval edges and just kind of filling it in the middle. That, and then a little bit flatter towards the bottom. Then you can take a medium brown and just kind of add highlights on what would be each oval that kind of stands out. This is just our medium brown, but leaving a lot of that darkness in between, like that. And then I would get like a really light kind of taupe for some of those highlights on each of them. And I would say that's the easiest way to do pine cone. Like that. That worked out pretty well. Maybe we can do an aster. Asters are beautiful purpley flowers that are in season right now. So we can start off with kind of like a yellow center. So I would just do a yellow center there. Let's do 2. Yellow center here. And I'm going to get like this beautiful kind of lavender color. And there's just petals that kind of go all around it. So I'm using like a darker purple to start. And then I'm going to come back in with some lighter ones. And they're just these long, thin petals. And you don't want it too symmetrical. You want some to have like some gaps. You want them some to be like really tight and close together. But having this like purple flower is just really nice, kind of bright part in this little spread that we're doing. I'm going to do shorter petals on that side and then longer on the opposite side, like that. I'm going to grab an even darker purple just towards the base and just kind of add a little bit of darkness there. Maybe a little bit on some of the petals for a bit of shadow. And then I'm going to grab this like light kind of lavendery color for some highlights. And then I'm going to grab a darker yellow and just do little tiny dots going around like this. Just little dots. And then just a little bit of that bright green. Some of them have it. Just a little bit of green in the center. So cute. And if you want, you can always add a stem that kind of connects them. Little leaf. If you love painting, I feel like these markers are just such a nice little easy way to access painting, but in a, you know, like without water and all that stuff. It's just, you don't have to get out as much, but you get the same kind of feeling just because of the brush tip markers and the creativity. It's just so much fun to use. I feel like I should add a little bit more lightness to some of these parts on the kind of just like little curves. There we go. Okay. I'm going to do one kind of just sprig of leaves here to fill this in. Anytime I'm doing a spread like this, I like to just kind of fill in areas that look like they need a little bit of a love with some leaves. You can add, just make sure to add like either a dark shadow or a highlight just to make it stand out a bit. Maybe even, let's do this dark red just for a little bit more. To fill in there. See how it just kind of helps add to it? I'm also going to add like a white flower, I think, over here. I think I'm going to do kind of like a cone flower. So I'm going to do like this gumdrop shape and then just do petals kind of falling down like that. Get a little bit darker. Like that. I'm going to grab my light yellow again. The center. Grab a medium yellow and then just do little lines. I'm going to leave the top a little bit lighter. And then go in again with a darker color, more towards the base. And then I would add a little bit more brown towards the base just for a bit more depth. And just kind of add a little bit more to some of these petals. Maybe a bit of white highlight on some. And then of course, our green stem. So imagine it kind of coming out that way. Little leaf. And there we go. I think that looks really sweet. And then I'm just gonna finish it off by writing hello October. And we have the cutest little spread with our Arrtx acrylic markers. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun to do. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you for our next video. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a great day, guys. Bye!